topics. During the discussion addressing how he deals with criticism, Prime Minister termed criticism as the soul of democracy, and that genuine criticism that is sharp and well-informed is hard to find these days. However, cautioning the difference between criticism and mudslinging, Prime Minister said that while genuine criticism is essential to democracy, but he said that it has to be distinguished from baseless allegations. Reiterating his commitment to serving India, the Prime Minister said that for a strong democracy, genuine criticism is necessary and allegations benefit no one, but just cause unnecessary politics.
देखिए, आपने जो कहा आलोचना और कैसे डील करते हैं, तो अगर मुझे एक वाक्य में कहना है तो मैं उसका स्वागत करता हूं, क्योंकि मेरा एक कन्विक्शन है कि क्रिटिसिज्म ये डेमोक्रेसी की आत्मा है। अगर आप ट्रू डेमोक्रेट हैं, आपके ब्लड में डेमोक्रेसी है, तो हमारे यहाँ तो कहा जाता है शास्त्रों में, निंदक नियरे राखिए। जो आलोचक होते हैं वो सबसे निकट होने चाहिए आपके पास, तो आप डेमोक्रेटिक वे में अच्छे ढंग से अच्छी जानकारियों के साथ काम कर सकते हैं। और मैं मानता हूं कि क्रिटिसिज्म होना चाहिए और ज्यादा होना चाहिए और बहुत तीखा क्रिटिसिज्म होना चाहिए। लेकिन मेरी शिकायत ये है कि आजकल क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं हो रहा है। क्रिटिसिज्म करने के लिए बहुत अध्ययन करना पड़ता है, विषय की बारीकी में जाना पड़ता है, सच और झूठ खोज करके निकालना पड़ता है। आजकल लोग शॉर्टकट ढूंढने की आदत के कारण कोई स्टडी करते नहीं है, रिसर्च नहीं करते हैं, वीकनेसेस को ढूंढ के निकालते नहीं है और आरोप लगाने में लग जाते हैं। एलिगेशंस और क्रिटिसिज्म के बीच में बहुत अंतर होता है। आप जिन लोगों का रेफरेंस दे रहे हैं वो एलिगेशंस है, वो क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं है। और लोकतंत्र की मजबूती के लिए क्रिटिसिज्म चाहिए। आरोप से किसी का भला नहीं होता है, तू मैं चलता है।
Now, reacting to the podcast, Congress's Jairam Ramesh launched a scathing attack on the Prime Minister. He accused Prime Minister Modi of being afraid to face the media and having found comfort in a foreign podcaster anchored in the right-wing ecosystem. Attacking the Prime Minister over his remarks on criticism, Jairam Ramesh said that the Prime Minister systematically gutted every institution that could hold the government accountable.
Yesterday, we have seen that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a statement in a podcast where he has also mentioned about the Godhra riots. He said that there was a conspiracy which was being hatched against him, as the central government of that point of time wanted him to go to jail. How do you see this statement?
Yesterday, the Prime Minister, in that interview, Prime Minister was said so many things, including the Godhra riot also. But our party spokesmen will be react on that.
So is the Prime Minister justified in drawing the distinction between genuine criticism and baseless mudslinging here, or is he just trying to find the escape route here? Let me go across to my guests who are joining me. Pradeep Mahar represents the BJP and Dr. Pooja Tripathi is spokesperson of the Congress. Thank you all both for joining me. Let's make this a quick and a straight-off face-off debate at this point. Pradeep Mahar, I'll start with you. How does the BJP respond to the criticism being leveled by Jairam Ramesh that if the Prime Minister genuinely felt that criticism is the soul of democracy, he would have held at least one press conference in his 20+ years as a person holding a high office in the country?
Look, there are many platforms. Now the world is a global village. So it doesn't matter, whosoever is holding the conference. And if he has appeared in the conference, I mean, that's a genuine thing. He can appear in the conference anywhere in the world. Many of the international leaders are appearing in the conference with Indians. So there is no harm in that. As far as the statement is concerned, I'll be very straightforward. If you want to criticize, he was absolutely correct. If you want to criticize something, you need to have a database, right? Because we heard in the past few years, what was happening is whenever, even I was sitting in the debates, what was happening? People were unnecessarily commenting on, unemployment, economy downfall and all these things without having any proper database. So the thing is this, if you want to criticize something, first, you have to collect the database. You have to have the proper understanding of what you are doing. Second, then you have to have a solution. If you have these two things, then your criticism has a value. If you just criticize for the heck of it, it doesn't have any value anywhere, because in democracy, opposition has a very important role. Whenever you are in opposition, you need to criticize. This is very, very important. If you do not criticize, you are not playing a role, right? But how you are playing a role, that is important. If you are playing your role properly, you need to understand each and every dynamics and criticize properly, rather than like what happened. You went to the foreign land and started criticizing on Indian economy without having any kind of a database. At Bahrain, what Rahul Gandhi said? Rahul Gandhi said that Indian economy is on the verge of collapse. This is what he said. So, do you have some proper database, or you're just saying for the heck of it? This way, you are actually defaming in India. Rather than this, Rahul Gandhi could have come up with something. This is what is happening in India. Now, I want that this should also happen. This is not happening. That is why I'm annoyed with the government. This would have been a better criticism. This would have been a more mature way to criticize. This is what the Prime Minister is saying.
So, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, is the Congress guilty of criticizing without backing it up with facts and data? That's what the BJP leader is saying.
Ritangshu, PM Modi's podcast was just a glorified Man Ki Baat or a monologue. This time the difference was just it was a foreign-based podcaster. I just come to the crux of it, where he said that criticism is the crux of democracy. Criticism is the heart and soul of democracy. Where was this heart and soul of democracy when you banned the BBC documentary that showed that displayed Godhra riots? And you also asked Twitter and YouTube, there were raids on BBC office and run up to what the documentary was being shown in India. Where was this crux of democracy when 44 FIRs were registered against anti-Modi protesters? Where was this heart and soul of democracy when 30% cases have increased against the reporters reporting on something as basic as farmers' protest and COVID mismanagement? Where was this heart and soul of democracy when yesterday Assam spokesperson Ritangshu Singh, he posted on social media he inquired about the cases against 3 senior BJP leaders, cases something as grievous as rape cases, and he was arrested, and and the leaders are not being allowed to meet him. So when he talks about, he encourages criticism, why was journalist Sabrina Saddiqui from Washington Post to question Prime Minister Modi, America, over the status of rights of minorities, was, she was hauled, she was trawled, she was targeted by the official IT cell chief Amit Malviya, calling her question religiously motivated, so much that White House had to step in, saying that this kind of practice is antithetical to the principles of democracy. This is Prime Minister Modi who's talking about criticism being at the center of democracy, and how rich and how, ironical coming from him. He comes from an abject poverty, and we have heard this from his interaction with Mark Zuckerberg to Nitin Kamath to the broadcaster. The irony is he's never faced any press conference in the last 11 years. And now it's the same old tired trope of "main garib tha, main itni garibi se nikla." We admire you for that, but what about, just now Pradeep Mohar was talking about backing it with his facts. RBI has said that for the last 5 years, the people have mortgaged loans, gold loans, for mere survival. Inflation is backbreaking all of us. Stock market is seeing an absolute bloodbath. The growth story has been cut down. Unemployment is staring at our faces. There are 7 suicides every day by farmers in Maharashtra every day. In the last 10 years, there have been 1,12,600 farmers suicide. 83 rapes happening every day. And this is Prime Minister Modi, who represents 140 million Indians, sitting there and talking about "Mera bachpan poverty mein beeta, maine chalk se apne canvas shoes white kiye." This is what, the vision of this.
See, the point is, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, the point is the Prime Minister was on a podcast where there are a lot of personal details on this point. And problem is, Pradeep Modi, a podcast cannot substitute for a press conference. A podcast is a place where people will want to know more details about the Prime Minister's personal life or his personal feelings or his childhood and so on. So that platform is for that. But when it comes to genuine criticism, media organizations, you've had something like a BBC being subjected to tax raids right after the documentary on Modi was aired. You've had civil societies like Amnesty, you've had Oxfam being hounded out of the country under the guise of FCRA violations. You have had academic and research institutions like JNU being subject to what they call constant hypervigilance of the center. So an institution which is genuinely, and we have seen in the previous Lok Sabha also in mass multiple MPs of the opposition were suspended and therefore they felt that their voice was being stifled. The point is that when institutions critical to the Prime Minister or the government are there, they are being stifled or being muzzled or there's muscle power being used against them. So where is this honest environment for constructive criticism coming from?
Look, there is a lot of difference between criticism. When we talk about criticism from opposition, it has a different meaning altogether. As far as BBC is concerned, that was pointed out. We consider that it was not a criticism, rather it was just the way to. It was one-way voice. It was not a communication altogether. It was not a two-way communication. It was just one-way voice where India was defamed. So anything like this, where your country is defamed, we have to stop it. Even I think Congress should have raised a voice that we do not want such kind of a documentary against India. Why are they, favoring such kind of a documentary? Documentaries are always one-way voice because they are saying something. You just have to listen to it. You can't, speak anything against it. If you speak, ultimately you have to speak on a different platform. You cannot go there and talk about it. You quoted so many things, right? So as far as, the criticism is concerned, that's just what I said. The criticism should be proper. If you are raising slogans in the parliament or assembly, that is not a criticism. Rather, you are trying to disrupt the democracy. We always say, we always welcome that you come, you sit, you have a discussion with us instead of, raising the placards, shouting against the government. You do not want to discuss. Do you call it a criticism? Just raising slogans, trying to disrupt the democratic process. So this is not criticism. So we are talking about a proper criticism where you can sit in the platform of parliament or assembly, discuss properly, put forward your views, have a proper, genuine discussion, put forward your data. If somebody is saying something, have a cross question, have a power to cross question rather than, just shouting and, disrupting the process. That's what I said. They were suspended because they were making a hue and cry unnecessarily. When speaker is saying you have a discussion on such topic, you should be discussing instead of raising slogans and disrupting the process.
Pooja Tripathi, respond to that, please.
Democracy is about discussion. Democracy is about dialogue. Democracy is about dissent. And when the parliamentarians were, demanding discussion on Manipur, why has it? Prime Minister visited Manipur in the last 150 days when this talk about whole suspension of 150 MPs happened. This was opposition demanding accountability from government on one part of the country being burnt, being engulfed in violence. And what was their solution? They just suspended MPs. This is how you encourage dialogue, dissent, and discussion. This is how you encourage. There are MPs who go on to give communal rants and nothing happens. There are MPs who go on to give personal remarks and nothing happens. And what we are asking right now also, we are asking them discussion on the 3-language rule. We're asking them discussion on the railway bill. We're asking them discussion on Manipur violence, but nothing will happen. And that's why we are saying that when he talks about very highly of, he encourages criticism. This is the same government that wrote to X before the general elections 2024 to take down 500 accounts that were critical of government. When Modi ji says that he invites criticism, where does this 500 accounts share? And there were some of the accounts that were, they were live tweeting, they were live covering the farmers' protests, they were live covering the
can I make a point, Pooja ji? Can I make a point, Pooja ji? If you please permit. Right. So what you are trying to justify is that, raising slogans and trying to disrupt the process, there was some genuine reason behind it. This is what you are going to say. But we have democratic processes. We have question hours. If you have some question, raise it in the question hour. We have discussion forums. We have joint party meetings. Lot of forums are there. So there can be some issues. We are not saying that there wouldn't be. BJP government wouldn't be having any issues at all. There would be some issues. When you're running such a big country, definitely there has to be some issues that need to be resolved. That need to be resolved by mutual discussion. Those are you were in the government. Listen, let me complete. Please. Let me complete.
Resolution is by suspending the
wait a moment. Can I complete? So you were in the government. That time also there were not many issues. I can raise those issues right now. Right?
Exactly.
So, those issues.
Arun
Wait a
Shah
moment.
is the heart
So
of
desperate you are. So desperate you are. That's what the problem is. You don't allow anybody to talk.
See,
form of democracy in itself.
No, Pradeep Mahaji, you also wanted to make a point. Okay. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, let's try and fester an environment of honest criticism here, if not elsewhere. Let Mr. Pradeep Mahaji complete his point in 30 seconds, then I'll give you uninterrupted time to counter.
Yes. That will be better. So that's what I'm saying. You are trying to justify all these processes that, the slogan is and disrupting the process. These all are correct. What I'm saying is there can be issues. We are not saying that ultimately our government is going to be completely issue-free, everything is resolved. When we are saying, when you are talking about unemployment, we are saying that unemployment rate and in 2014 was this has reduced to this. But has it completely gone? We are not saying that it is completely gone. Now, we need to resolve the problem of unemployment. We have to sit together and discuss, find out the ways and resolve it. Rather than disrupting, if you disrupt the process, understand. If you completely wipe out the...
But Pradeep Mahaji, it doesn't happen like, okay, if I have to enter a talks table with Pradeep Mahaji, the problem is that if I'm trying to equate it to a cricketing match here, if I want to play a cricket match with another team and I say the umpire is also mine and I will decide when you're bowling too fast, I will decide when you're running too fast between the wickets and then accordingly remove it, it creates an unequal playing field. That's all I'm saying at this point. Anyway, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, you wanted to respond now, go ahead.
I want to remind Pradeep ji that their senior leaders, Sushma Swaraj ji and Arun Jaitley ji, said that dissent, disrupting parliament is the form of a healthy democracy. So when he's saying we should ask questions, and that's what we were asking. We were asking questions on Prime Minister Modi that why hasn't he visited burning Manipur since last 150 days? We were asking questions on Amit Shah ji. What has he done to curb the violence? We were asking questions on government that why hasn't the chief minister's resignation being asked for? And that's what we were asking. And you can say that we were sloganeering, and it's a very easy and convenient way to suspend MPs and shut down. When you suspend MPs, they'll go to the streets, they'll go to the Gandhi Pratima, they'll go to the Ambedkar Pratima, and they'll protest. You can't throttle the voices by just suspending the parliamentarians, and that's what I'm saying. And that's where, this is we're being very holier than thou approach of, I invite criticism, and criticism is very healthy. And so when we talk about unemployment, we expected the budget 2024 to address, to give us something, some roadmap for, tackling unemployment, but they didn't.
Can I raise a point?
The word unemployment, let me complete, Pradeep ji. The word unemployment,
okay, now let Dr. Pooja Tripathi complete.
Budget 2024 speech, and these are the people who are, there are 7 suicides that's happening every day in India, and that's what the figures say, that's what the facts say, that's not the opposition's brainchild that's been saying this. So when we are saying that you come on a podcast, you're representing each one of you, me, each and every one of you, and you have to talk about the problems that's happening. You can talk richly or highly of RSS, but you cannot talk about Gandhiji's ideology and RSS in one sentence. And that's where I disagree.
Can I raise a point?
Okay, Dr. Tripathi, I think we'll have to leave it at that. Pradeep Mahaji, I have 15 seconds because the Prime Minister is speaking. I want to listen to what he's saying live right now.
Okay. Perfect. So the thing is this, everything else is okay. But now Prime Minister is saying that we should have a healthy discussion. What is wrong in that? It should be rather appreciated. He's welcoming everybody to have a discussion. So this should be appreciated. Why are you opposing this? The question is this.
Mahaji, we all agree with the healthy discussion is important. I don't think even the Congress has a problem with the statement that criticism is important for democracy. The point is who is actually living up to those words, whether it be the BJP or the Congress. I think we have at least had the healthy discussion today, right now. Thank you both for joining me.